Welcome to Kindle English Podcast, your cozy space to learn, grow, and speak confidently.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Kindle English Podcast on YouTube. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, I want you to imagine something with me right now. You're standing in the middle of a busy street in a brand new city. People are rushing past you, cars are honking, everything looks unfamiliar. And you reach into your pocket and pull out your phone and 2% battery. Google Maps is spinning, not loading, and then black screen, dead. You're completely, utterly lost. What do you say? How do you ask someone for help without panicking, without freezing up, without feeling like your brain just forgot every English word you've ever learned?
Oh, I felt that in my chest, Hazel. Like genuinely, my palms just got sweaty thinking about it.
Right? Because we've all been there, every single one of us. And here's the thing, in real life, these moments don't give you time to open a dictionary. You can't pause reality and look up a phrase. You need the words right there, ready to go.
And that's exactly what this episode is about. Today, we're going to walk you through the exact phrases, the real expressions that native English speakers actually use when they're lost, when they need directions, when they're trying to figure out where on earth they are. And we're pulling from both American English and British English because trust me, people ask for directions very differently in New York versus London.
Oh, very differently. We're going to get into that.
And hey, real quick, if you're new here, welcome. We'd love it if you hit that subscribe button for Kindle English Podcast and give this video a like. It helps us out so much and it means more people can find these episodes. Share it with a friend who's traveling soon. They'll thank you later.
They really will. So Finn, I have to ask, when was the last time you were genuinely, completely disoriented in a city? Like, not just, oh, I took a wrong turn, but fully, deeply lost?
Oh, okay. Disoriented, that's a good word right off the bat. For anyone who doesn't know, disoriented means you've lost your sense of direction. You don't know where you are, you don't know which way is north or south, you're just spinning. And yeah, that was me in London about 3 years ago.
London? Okay, tell me.
So I was visiting for the first time, right? And I thought I was being so smart because I'd memorized the tube map. Like I'd studied it, I was proud of myself. But then I came up out of the underground at this exit and I was on street level and everything looked the same. Like every direction was just old buildings and people walking fast and I had no idea which way to go. My phone had died on the train because I'd been watching videos like an idiot and I just stood there on the pavement for a solid 2 minutes, turning in circles.
Turning in circles, like a confused pigeon.
Exactly like a confused pigeon, Hazel. That's exactly what I looked like.
So here's the thing that I think trips people up, and I've heard this from so many English learners. It's not that they don't know any English, it's that in that moment of panic when you're standing on a street corner and you're disoriented and stressed, your brain just goes blank. You can't access what you know.
Yeah, it's like stage fright, but for language. Your English is in there somewhere, but the stress locks it up.
Exactly. So the first thing I want to talk about is just the opening line. What's the very first thing you say to a stranger when you need help? Because getting that first sentence out is the hardest part. Once you start talking, it flows.
Okay, so in America, the most natural thing you'd hear is, "Excuse me, could you help me? I'm a bit lost." That's it. Simple. Or even just, "Hey, sorry, do you know where?" and then whatever place you're looking for.
And notice how Finn said sorry right at the beginning. That's a very natural thing in English. You soften the request. You don't just walk up to someone and say, "Where is the train station?" That would be a lot.
Yeah, don't do that. You'll scare people. In the UK especially, people say sorry before literally everything. "Sorry, could you tell me? Sorry to bother you, but so sorry, I'm a bit lost." It's like a cultural reflex.
The British sorry is legendary. You could step on someone's foot in London and they would apologize to you.
That's so true. But yeah, for learners, the pattern to remember is polite opener, then your question. "Excuse me, sorry to bother you. Could you tell me how to get to," and then the place. That structure works everywhere in the English-speaking world.
And you know what? Most people are genuinely happy to help. I think there's this fear that strangers will be annoyed or rude, but in my experience, both in the US and the UK, most people will stop and try to help you find your way.
100%. I've had complete strangers in New York walk me 3 blocks to make sure I found the right building. And New Yorkers are supposed to be the rude ones.
The reputation versus the reality, right?
Okay, so let's talk about what happens after you ask, because asking is step 1. Step 2 is understanding the answer, and that's where it gets tricky.
This is the part that used to terrify me, honestly. Not asking, but listening to the answer. Because people give directions so differently depending on where they're from and who they are.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so in the US, people tend to give directions using street names and blocks, like go 2 blocks north, then take a left on 5th Avenue. Very grid-based, very logical, especially in cities like New York or Chicago, where the streets are numbered.
Right, and that works because American cities are often built on a grid. But in the UK, especially London, good luck. The streets were designed by, I don't know, a confused medieval sheep.
A confused medieval sheep. Hazel, that's amazing.
But it's true. The streets in London twist and curve and change names halfway through. So when you ask for directions there, people tend to use landmarks instead. They'll say things like, walk past the big church, then you'll see a pub on the corner, turn right just after the pub. It's all about landmarks. Those are the recognizable buildings or features that help you figure out where you are.
That's such a good distinction. And for anyone who's not familiar, a landmark is basically any well-known or easily noticeable feature in an area. It could be a famous building, a statue, a big store, a park, anything you can spot and use as a reference point to navigate.
Yeah, and navigate is another keyword here. To navigate just means to find your way through a place. You can navigate a city, navigate a tricky conversation, navigate a confusing website. It works in lots of contexts.
Navigate my way through Hazel's kitchen when she's cooking. That's a dangerous navigation mission.
Hey, my kitchen is perfectly organized. Anyway, back to directions. So here's a scenario that I think a lot of listeners will relate to. You ask someone for help, they start talking, and they say something like, yeah, just head down the main thoroughfare and it's on your left. And you're standing there nodding, but inside your head you're like, what is a thoroughfare?
Okay, wait, I'll admit I didn't know that word for the longest time. Thoroughfare, what even is that?
A thoroughfare is basically a main road or a main street, a major road that goes through an area and is usually busy with traffic. You'd hear it more in British English, honestly, or in more formal contexts, but it pops up on signs and maps, so it's worth knowing.
So if someone says the main thoroughfare, they basically mean the big main road.
Exactly, and once you know that, the directions suddenly make sense.
See, this is why I love doing this podcast. I learn things too. Okay, but Hazel, what about when someone gives you directions that involve a roundabout? Because that threw me off completely when I was in England.
Oh, the roundabout confusion? Tell me.
So I was driving, which was already terrifying because they drive on the left side of the road. And someone told me, take the 3rd exit at the roundabout. And I panicked. A roundabout is one of those circular intersections where traffic goes around in a circle and you take your exit, right? They're everywhere in the UK and Europe, but in a lot of American cities, they're pretty rare. We just have regular intersections with traffic lights.
Yeah, roundabouts can be really disorienting if you're not used to them, especially when you're also trying to drive on the opposite side of the road.
I went around the roundabout 3 times, Hazel, 3 full circles because I kept missing my exit. The people behind me must have thought I was a complete lunatic.
Oh no, 3 times? That's like a carousel at that point.
It was a carousel, a terrifying high-speed carousel.
Okay, but let's talk about the emotional side of this, because getting lost isn't just a language problem, it's a confidence problem. Even native speakers feel stressed when they're lost, but when you're communicating in a language that isn't your first language, the stress is multiplied.
So much. And I think the most important thing, more important than knowing the perfect phrase, is just giving yourself permission to not be perfect. Like, it's okay to say, sorry, I didn't understand. Could you say that again more slowly? That's a completely normal thing to say.
I love that you brought that up, because so many learners feel like asking someone to repeat themselves is embarrassing, but it's not. Native speakers ask each other to repeat things all the time. Sorry, what was that? Could you run that by me again? Wait, which street did you say?
And here's a little secret. If you say, I'm sorry, English isn't my first language, could you explain that a bit more simply? Most people will immediately become 10 times more patient and helpful. People respect the effort. They admire it, actually.
That's so true. I've seen it happen so many times. People's faces just soften and they slow down and they really try to help you understand. And you know what else helps when you're feeling disoriented and panicky? just taking a second to get your bearings.
Ooh, get your bearings. I like that one. Break that down for people, Hazel.
Okay, so to get your bearings means to figure out where you are, to orient yourself, to look around and establish your position. Like when you come out of a subway station and everything looks unfamiliar, you might stop, look around for a landmark, there's that word again, and try to get your bearings before you start walking.
It's like resetting your internal compass. I always look for big things first. A tall building, a river, a park, something I can see that I know is on the map. That helps me get my bearings way faster than staring at street signs.
That's actually a really smart strategy, and it works in any city, any country.
See? I'm not just a pretty face, Hazel.
Debatable. I'm kidding.
Wow, the disrespect on this podcast today.
You walked right into that one, Finn. But seriously, let me share something that happened to me in New York. So I was visiting Manhattan for the first time. I was maybe 22, and I just arrived at Penn Station. I came up the escalator into this wall of noise and people and yellow cabs, and I just froze, completely disoriented. I couldn't get my bearings at all. Every direction looked the same, just tall buildings and crowds.
That New York sensory overload is real.
It really is. And I remember standing on the sidewalk, clutching my suitcase, looking like the most obvious tourist on the planet. And this woman, I'll never forget her. She stopped, looked at me and said, "Honey, you look lost. Where are you trying to go?" Just like that. No judgment, just warmth. And I nearly cried because I was so relieved.
That's beautiful. And it proves the point. People want to help. You just have to be open to receiving it.
If you're listening and you're someone who's ever helped a lost stranger, thank you. Genuinely. You probably made their whole day. Drop a comment and tell us about a time someone helped you when you were lost. We'd love to hear those stories.
Okay, I really want to get into this because the differences between how Americans and British people give directions are so interesting, and they go way beyond just the words.
Okay, give me an example.
All right, so in America, if you're walking and someone says, "It's 2 blocks down on your right," that's super clear. A block is basically the distance from one street to the next. Very standard. But in England, people don't really use blocks because the streets aren't laid out in a grid.
Right. In the UK, you're more likely to hear it's about a 5-minute walk or keep going for about 200 meters. They give you time or distance estimates instead.
Which can be so unreliable, by the way. A British 5-minute walk can mean anything from 3 minutes to 15 minutes. It depends entirely on how fast they walk.
That is painfully accurate. And here's another big one. In America, people say sidewalk. In the UK, they say pavement. Same thing, the path next to the road where pedestrians walk, but completely different words.
Oh, pedestrians, that's another one. A pedestrian is simply a person who is walking, especially in a city or town. So a pedestrian crossing, a pedestrian zone, those are areas for people on foot.
And you'll see that word on signs everywhere. Pedestrian zone means no cars allowed, only people walking. Very common in European city centers and increasingly in American downtown areas too.
Although in a lot of American cities, the car is still king. Pedestrians don't always get the respect they deserve.
That's a whole other conversation, Finn, but you're not wrong. Okay, here's one that confuses people. In America, you take the subway. In London, you take the tube or take the underground. In some parts of England, people call it the metro. They're all basically the same thing, an underground train system. But if you say subway in London, some people might think you mean a pedestrian underpass, like a tunnel that goes under the road for people to walk through.
Wait, seriously? A subway in London is a walkway?
It can be, yeah. Context matters. If someone says take the subway under the road, they mean the little tunnel, not the train.
English is wild, you guys. Even native speakers get confused by each other. I want to hear from you all in the comments. Have you ever had a moment where British English and American English mixed you up? Like you used the wrong word and someone looked at you funny? Tell us. Those stories are always hilarious.
We genuinely read every single comment, so don't be shy.
Okay, Hazel. Let's be real about something. Sometimes you follow the directions perfectly, or at least you think you do, and you still end up in the completely wrong place.
You mean the joy of the unexpected detour?
The dreaded detour. For anyone who doesn't know, a detour is when you have to take a different route than planned, usually because a road is closed or you made a wrong turn. It literally means a deviation from the direct path.
And in life, detours can be good or bad, right? Sometimes a wrong turn leads you to the coolest little neighborhood or the best restaurant you've ever found. But in the moment, when you're already late and stressed and lost, a detour feels like the universe is personally against you.
The universe has a sick sense of humor sometimes. Okay, I have to tell this story. I was in Boston, beautiful city by the way, but the streets are insane. They follow old cow paths or something. And I was trying to walk to this restaurant, and I kept ending up at the same roundabout. Like 3 different turns, and I'd end up back at the same spot.
No, like a glitch in the Matrix.
Exactly like a glitch in the Matrix. So finally, I stopped a guy. He was walking his dog, and I said, "Hey, sorry, I keep ending up here. I'm trying to find this restaurant." And he started laughing because apparently the restaurant was literally around the corner. I had been taking all these detours, and it was right there the whole time.
Oh, Finn, that's so perfectly you.
I know. The dog looked at me with such judgment too.
The dog judged you? Okay, but this brings up a really practical point. Sometimes the best phrase you can learn isn't, "How do I get to?" It's, "Am I going the right way for?" Because if you're already walking and you're not sure, you can just confirm with someone. "Excuse me, am I going the right way for the train station?" Or, "Is this the right direction for Oxford Street?"
Oh, that's clever. Because it's a yes or no question, so the answer is simple. They either say, "Yeah, just keep going straight," or, "No, actually, you need to turn around."
Exactly. And if you're unsure about directions someone already gave you, you can always say, "Sorry, just to confirm, did you say left or right at the traffic lights?" Confirming is totally normal and smart. It's not a sign of weakness, it's being practical.
And honestly, sometimes the person giving you directions isn't great at giving directions. That's a thing. Some people are terrible at explaining routes. They mean well, but they'll say things like, "Go down there, past the thing, and it's near the other thing." And you're left more confused than when you started.
Past the thing, classic. When that happens, don't be afraid to ask a second person. There's no rule that says you can only ask once. Ask 3 people if you need to. Each person might give you a slightly different piece of the puzzle, and together you'll figure it out.
And you know what? Each time you ask, you're practicing your English. So even the wrong turns are helping you improve. Every detour is a language lesson.
Ooh, look at you being philosophical, Finn.
I have my moments.
Okay, so here's something I absolutely love about getting lost. And I know that sounds weird, but hear me out. Sometimes getting lost leads you to a shortcut that you never would have found otherwise.
A shortcut? Like a faster way to get somewhere?
Yes, a shortcut is a quicker route, a faster path that avoids the main roads. And locals always know shortcuts that aren't on any map. Little alleyways, paths through parks, passages between buildings, the hidden routes that save you 10-15 minutes.
Oh, I love asking locals about shortcuts. That's actually one of my favorite things to do in a new city. I'll go up to someone and say, "Hey, is there a quicker way to get to the river from here?" And they'll usually light up because they love sharing their secret routes.
It's such a great way to connect with people too. You're not just asking for directions, you're asking for local knowledge, and people love sharing that. It makes them feel like an expert on their own city.
And from a language perspective, the conversation you have when asking about shortcuts is usually richer. They might say things like, "Yeah, cut through the park, go past the fountain, take the little path on the left, it'll bring you right out behind the station." There's so much good vocabulary in that one sentence.
Cut through. That's a great phrasal verb. To cut through somewhere means to take a shortcut through it. Cut through the park. Cut through the parking lot. Very natural, very common.
And in the UK, you might hear nip through instead, like just nip through the alley there. Same idea, very British.
I love nip through. It sounds so quick and sneaky.
It does, like you're a little spy on a mission. But you know what? Speaking of wandering around new places, I think there's something to be said for just wandering, like intentionally not having a destination and just walking and exploring.
Oh, I completely agree. To wander means to walk around without a fixed route or destination, just going wherever your feet take you. And some of the best travel experiences I've ever had came from wandering.
Same. I was wandering through this neighborhood in Brooklyn once. No plan, no map, just walking. And I stumbled onto this incredible little bookshop that had live jazz on Friday nights. I never would have found it if I had been following a GPS route.
See? That's the magic of wandering. You find things that aren't in any guidebook. And from an English learning perspective, if you're wandering through a new city, you're constantly surrounded by language. Street signs, shop names, menus, conversations around you. It's immersive learning without even trying.
So if you're visiting an English-speaking country, give yourself permission to wander for at least one afternoon. Put the phone away, well, maybe keep it charged this time, and just explore. You'll learn more English in 2 hours of wandering than you would in 2 hours of studying a textbook.
I genuinely believe that. And if you get lost while you're wandering, perfect. Now you get to practice asking for directions too.
It's a win-win situation. Getting lost is just surprise language practice.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt. Getting lost is just surprise language practice.
Okay, Hazel, I think we should practice some of this. Like, let's actually act out a scenario so people can hear how these conversations sound in real life.
Oh, I love this idea. Okay, let's do it. So let's say I'm a tourist in London and I'm completely lost. I need to find the British Museum. And Finn, you're a local I've stopped on the street.
Got it. I'm a Londoner now. Let me get into character. Right.
Excuse me? Sorry to bother you. I'm a bit lost. Could you tell me how to get to the British Museum from here?
Oh yeah, no worries. It's not far at all. So you want to go down this road here. Keep going straight past the cafe on the corner, yeah? Then you'll hit a big intersection. You can't miss it. Cross over and keep walking for about 2 minutes. You'll see the museum on your left. Big building with columns out front.
Oh, okay. So straight down this road, past the cafe, cross the intersection, and it's on my left?
That's it. Shouldn't take more than 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Enjoy the museum.
See? That's it. That's the whole conversation. Notice how I confirmed the directions back to him? So straight down this road, past the cafe, cross the intersection, and it's on my left? That confirmation technique is so important. It makes sure you actually understood, and it gives the other person a chance to correct you if you got something wrong.
And notice how the directions use the landmark, the cafe on the corner. That's your anchor point. You look for the cafe, and then you know you're on the right track.
Thoughtfully, let's try another one. This time, American setting. Finn, you're lost in Manhattan, and I'm a New Yorker.
Hey, excuse me. I'm trying to find Central Park. Am I going the right way?
Central Park? Nah, you're heading the wrong way, actually. You need to turn around and go north. Head up about 6 blocks, and you'll walk right into it.
6 blocks north. Sorry, which way is north from here?
That way. Just go back the direction you came from and keep going straight. You'll hit the park eventually. Can't miss it.
Got it. Thanks so much.
No problem. Have a good one.
Okay, I love how the American version was shorter and more direct. That have a good one at the end is so American.
It really is. Have a good one. It means have a good day or have a nice time. Very casual, very warm, very American.
And in the UK, they might say cheers instead. Like, cheers, thanks, mate. Which confused me for the longest time because I thought cheers was only for toasting drinks.
A lot of people think that. But in British English, cheers is basically thanks. It's informal. You'll hear it constantly in shops, on buses, everywhere. Cheers, mate. Cheers, love. Very normal.
These little cultural things make such a difference. Like knowing that cheers means thanks in the UK isn't in any grammar textbook, but it's the kind of thing you need to know to navigate real conversations in England.
There's that word again, navigate. And this time we're not talking about streets. We're talking about navigating social situations, navigating conversations. Same word, broader meaning.
I love how English does that. One word, so many contexts.
Okay, so Finn, I want to rapid fire through some of the most useful phrases people can memorize for when they're lost, like the survival toolkit.
Let's do it. The phrases that will save you when your phone dies and you're standing on an unfamiliar thoroughfare looking like a confused pigeon. There I go, using your word.
Look at that, thoroughfare in natural context. I'm so proud. Okay, phrase 1. Excuse me, could you point me in the direction of? This is polite, clear, and works everywhere.
Phrase 2. I think I'm a bit lost. Do you know where the nearest metro station is? Replace metro station with whatever you need. Bus stop, taxi rank, main road, whatever.
Phrase 3. Is it within walking distance? This is so useful because you need to know whether you can walk there or if you need a bus or a taxi. Within walking distance means close enough to walk to.
Phrase 4, and this is my personal favorite because I use it all the time. Is there a shortcut? Sometimes the main route takes 20 minutes, but a local knows a shortcut through a park that takes 5.
Phrase 5. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it one more time? For when someone gives you directions too quickly and you need them to repeat it. I didn't catch that is very natural.
Phrase 6. Which way is...
pointing to something. Sometimes you don't need a whole explanation. You just need to know, left or right. Which way is the river? Point, done.
And honestly, even pointing and using single words is fine. If your English isn't advanced enough for full sentences, train station, that way, with a point, that communicates perfectly. Nobody will judge you.
Nobody. Communication isn't about perfect grammar. It's about being understood. And if you can get your bearings and find your way using 2 words and a hand gesture, that's a success.
Get your bearings. 3rd time we've used that one today. I hope it's really sinking in for everyone.
Cheerfully, repetition is the secret weapon. Hear a word enough times in different contexts, and it just sticks.
That's exactly how this podcast works. We don't give you vocabulary lists, we give you conversations, and the words just become part of how you think.
You know, Hazel, this has been such a fun one. I feel like we've basically lived through 10 different getting lost scenarios today.
We really have. And I think the big things to take away from today are these ideas of getting your bearings when you feel disoriented, using landmarks to navigate instead of panicking, not being afraid to ask, even 2 or 3 people if you need to, and remembering that a detour or a wander through an unfamiliar neighborhood can actually be the best part of your trip.
And that shortcuts aren't just for getting places faster. They're opportunities to connect with the locals and learn real, natural English that no textbook can teach you.
Whether you're walking down a busy thoroughfare in London or trying to figure out the blocks in New York, the phrases we talked about today will help you in those real, unscripted moments where you just need to find your way.
Cheerfully. And hey, if you get lost, don't panic. Take a breath, get your bearings, ask a pedestrian. You'll be fine. And you'll have a great story to tell afterwards.
Every good travel story starts with, "So I was completely lost."
Every single one, without fail.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today on the Kindle English Podcast. It really means the world that you choose to listen and learn with us.
Seriously, you guys are amazing. And if this episode helped you, smash that like button, subscribe to Kindle English Podcast if you haven't already, and share it with someone who's about to travel. They need this in their pocket.
We'll see you in the next episode. Take care of yourselves, keep practicing, and remember, every conversation is a chance to grow.
And if you see someone turning in circles at a roundabout in London, that's probably me. Come say hi. Bye, everyone.
Bye.